Hello, it's Rob Woods from Brightspot. And firstly, I hope you're safe and well. I hope you're doing okay. Secondly, I wanted to make a short film to share an interesting idea or approach to fundraising right now that I've taken through various conversations with fundraisers who I train and coach. So it came about because I was doing one of our regular group coaching calls with people in the Brightspot Members Club online. And one fundraiser from an overseas development charity shared that not all of her donors are giving right now, but those who are giving are tending to be more generous than they normally would. And I found this interesting because I've noticed the pattern elsewhere. In my new free ebook, Power Through the Pandemic, I cite results from a homelessness charity who have been running a very successful telephone fundraising campaign recently to their donors who had been giving around £15 per month, and they've been making calls seeing if those people would like to start to give more generously. And after around 600 calls made so far, not only for that charity are more people saying yes than normally would to that request, but really interestingly, the average amount that they increase by has gone up, so that where normally the average increase value would be an extra £72 per donor that says yes per year, it's gone up to £102 extra for the year's giving. So that's an increase on average of £30 in how much people are willing to be more generous. And I've noticed this pattern in many organizations, including ones that are not really obviously overtly affected by the coronavirus pandemic. I'm really sorry if this pattern is not going on for your cause at all, and you work for a cause where people are just not so interested in giving or giving generously right now. But my hope is that even if you're work for a less obvious cause, those who do care about your cause right now, they're doing their bit to be more generous than they normally would. This is good news, obviously, because those calls or those requests for funds are paying you back more effectively. But secondly, it sets up what I think is a really good opportunity for how well we steward that generous gift. And the particular insight I've got comes from episode 4 of the podcast that I run, Fundraising Bright Spots podcast. And right early when I started making these, I had a conversation with a brilliant fundraiser called Rachel Honeybun. And she shared with me results from a couple of years ago. She worked for a charity. They had a particularly successful fundraising campaign, and she noticed that people were being more generous in response to this campaign than normal campaigns. In fact, she noticed that 24% of people were, markedly more generous. And what she decided to do was to recognize explicitly that stretch in gift. And because there were hundreds of them, she couldn't make phone calls to all of them. So all she did was she and her colleagues wrote a handwritten thank you note. And the main message was, we noticed you were especially generous, more generous, even more generous than normal this time. And we really appreciate the difference this is making. She sent that to half of the people who had given this stretched gift. Even if they were giving it at low level, if they'd given it at more than normal, they received this lovely extra thank you card. And the thing that I'm especially grateful she did is that there was a control group of people who didn't receive the extra stewardship in this way. And the punchline to this story is she then monitored giving in the following year, and something as simple as a handwritten thank you card led to tens of thousands of pounds extra income. In fact, if the group that received the handwritten thank you note, that group were giving at 174% increase compared to what they had given in terms of they're giving that next year. So what does this mean for us right now? We can't do loads about the people who are choosing not to support our cause right now, but assuming we can just keep the doors open of our charity for the next months, and I really hope you can, one really valuable thing to bear in mind is look out for people who've been more generous than they normally would be. And my question is, what can you do to explicitly recognize this extra generosity at this difficult time. And for some donors, it might be appropriate, major donors or high value, it might be appropriate that they receive a bespoke phone call, or even just a film from your chief executive or from someone on the front line, thanking them for this extra generosity when we need it most. Or for some of you, clearly there's all kinds of creative stewardship tactics you can do. But if all you do is search on the database for people who are more generous than normal and send those some handwritten thank you cards, then my expectation is the act of you acknowledging and thanking them for that will lead to them being even more generous in the coming months. Certainly that is consistent with what Rachel discovered. If you want to check that out, it's episode 4 of the Fundraising Bright Spots podcast. Just before I finish, if you like these kinds of insights and ideas and you want to get access to more of them, then there is an opportunity we've never done before with the Bright Spot Members Club. If you don't know about it, it's an online training and inspiration site. It's a club, it's a community for fundraisers who want to get access to valuable training films, downloads. Twice a week we do these problem-solving sessions with me online. We do all this stuff to help you as a learning community. What we've never done before is a special taster month. Right now, if you want to try out, just watch some of those films with relatively little financial risk, then you can join and get access to all of that stuff for just £5, including that, for a month's worth of access. And if that's all you want to do, then that's fine. If you want to stay because it's providing so much value, then by all means you can stay, and it goes back up to the normal price after that. But between now and Tuesday the 19th of May, we've got a taster offer going on where you can join at that vastly reduced price. I hope you might check that out. Check the link next to this film. If that's not for you, then thank you so much for listening. Anyway, I hope that this film was in some way useful in helping you justify time and effort to quite deliberately do a certain kind of stewardship activity for your generous donors right now. Hope this was helpful. Best of luck. Bye-bye.